The group behind a push to return cable cars to Dunedin is looking to ramp up its activities this year. The Dunedin Cable Car Trust hopes a cable car could be carrying passengers up High Street within 5 years. But with a $22 million price tag, the Trust faces an uphill battle. Chairman Phil Cole is here with the latest on the issue. Good evening, Phil.
Evening, Rebecca.
Now, the Trust has been around since 2007. How did the idea begin?
They all began with a talk at the Otago Settlers Museum back in 2007. Don McCara, the Christchurch painter, was down exhibiting his cable car paintings. And at that meeting, another person took over called Bill Campbell, who suggested the idea of forming a cable car committee to look into reintroducing cable cars in Dunedin. Subsequent to that, after the meeting, six people got together, we formed the trust, and the one thing that was evident at that meeting was the three cable car lines that originally ran in Dunedin. The most popular one voted unanimously to look at was the High Street cable car line. So once the trust formed itself, that was the line we looked at. We did look briefly at the Stewart Street one, but the High Street one was the more viable.
Where is the project at the moment?
At the moment, we've got a management consultancy firm on board who have been helping us focus on the planning side of it. We've got the business plan finished and finalised. We've got the cost estimates. They've been done for quite a while now. But as you would appreciate, the costs of materials do fluctuate. So that price does vary slightly, but it is around the $22 million mark. So we've got that in place. We keep ongoing contact with the council to keep them informed of what we're doing. And I must say they've been very supportive of what we're trying to do. So that's where we are at the moment.
22 million is a lot of money. Why the high cost?
It is a lot of money. If I said to you it would cost you $10 million and not a cent more, then I think we'd been down that route recently in Dunedin. So that's the actual cost of the project in terms of the engineering, in terms of materials, in terms of everything. So that's why it's high. That's the cost of it. And it's not to say that it won't be more, it won't be less, but that's the kind of figure that if it was built today, that's where it would be coming in at.
Where are you hoping that the majority of money will come from?
For a project like this, if you go down a normal route of trying to make it like a business venture, it's more than likely going to fail. So what we've done, which I'll explain probably later if I get the chance, is the majority of this money will come from donations, private funding, grants, trusts, anything like that we have already been in contact with and are establishing, and that's where the money's going to come from.
Do you think a cable car could ever break even?
If you include the start-up costs in it, no. But if you take out the start-up costs, yes. Hence the start-up costs, which is the bulk of this $22 million. That's why it's got to be done by donations and community trust money and grants, because to be realistic, that's the only way it's going to be built. Once you've got that start-up cost, it can be run at a profit. We don't want to run it to a break even because that doesn't really achieve anything. We want to run it at a profit so that we can reinvest the profits back into the cable corporation itself. But also, this is what's one of the unique things about it, is that any other profits that are generated, we can put back into the local community and also towards apprenticeships. And then any money, and then a little portion of that profit will also be set aside for in the event of when the cable car stops being profitable or stops being run, we've got the money there to then dismantle it with no cost to the ratepayer.
Now, the Trust is planning to get a little bit more active this year. What's happening there?
Well, later this year we hope to have a big fundraising drive in Dunedin. We've got a few things planned which I don't really want to tell you about for obvious reasons. It would break the surprise. But before then we want to get one or two little fundraisers going. So the chances are that in April, May time, there might be one little fundraiser going on, another one probably June and July, with a big fundraiser toward the end of the year.
Well, we'll watch this space. Dunedin Cable Car Trust Chairman Phil Cole, thanks very much for your time.
Thanks, Rebecca.